James Allen Reed, born in 1795, he died in 1873. He was a frontiersman, an Army veteran, a diplomat, a businessman, and a settler. He's the first permanent non-native settler of TREMPEALEAU County and founding father of TREMPEALEAU and Winona. He's also the great-great-great-grandfather of Ron Wannock, founder and chairman of Ashley Furniture Industries, Inc. James Reed was born in Kentucky to Scotch-Irish Pioneers. Like most children of the frontier era, he was not educated when it came to books, but he was adept in the school of nature. He adapted quickly to the local customs, speaking French as well as several Indian dialects. He was both respected and feared by the local Indian communities. Once even delivering a bear, he shot, dressed, and cooked into a soup to show his reverence for their culture. Licking the bowl clean when he finished, showing his respect, as that was customary in their culture. Reed wasn't afraid to stand his ground either. One autumn day in the early 1850s, a number of Indians came to TREMPEALEAU to do some trading and brought along their usual number of dogs. Reed had some hogs running loose near his house. The dogs began to chase them and succeeded in killing one and injuring several others. When Reed saw that happen, he took down his rifle and, walking into the yard, shot 7 of their dogs. There were no repercussions because the Indians feared and respected Reed's temperament and especially his accuracy with his rifle. Reed was an expert in the 3 T's of his era: trapping, trading, and tomahawking. Reed could follow a trail, wield a hunting knife, and throw a tomahawk with more cunning than most of the native Indians. As a rifleman, his accuracy was renowned and feared by those who crossed him, even on the western frontier, where every man was considered an expert. Reed spent much of his life in the military, enlisting in the War of 1812 at the age of 14. He was later posted at Fort Crawford on the Mississippi River near Prairie du Chien, where he met and married a Potawatomi woman at the age of 21 and had 5 children with her before she died. Reed had always wanted to be a fur trader, so he went to work for the American Fur Company after his discharge. The animals he preferred trapping in the region were muskrat, mink, marten, otter, raccoon, and beaver. Reed was the founding father of Winona. The city of Winona was formally established in 1851, but 9 years prior, in 1842, James Reed established the first shop in what is now known as downtown Winona. The shop was located at 2nd and Center Streets, an 18-foot by 24-foot trading post built with the help of Lafayette Bunnell. As an authorized and licensed agent of the United States government, Reed traded with the Wabasha tribe, which was located in the Winona area. When the Treaty of Mendota was signed in 1851, Wabasha's tribe was relocated. Reed disassembled his store and moved his building down the river to Reed's Landing, known now as TREMPEALEAU, where his family and home had been since 1840. During this period in his life, he met and married his second wife, a Menominee woman, mixed-blood widow, who had 2 additional children with her before she passed away. Reed built a log house and moved his family to the banks of the Mississippi in what became known as James Reed's Landing and eventually City of TREMPEALEAU as we know it today. He married a 3rd time and had 1 son from that marriage. Reed obtained the position of government farmer for the Wabasha Indians living on the present site of Winona, Minnesota, where he and L.H. Bunnell erected the first house built in Winona. Reed hunted and trapped in the Dodge and Arcadia areas for years before he died at the home of his friend and neighbor Charles H. Perkins in 1873 at the age of 75. Here's some interesting stories about James Reed. While living in the Little Tamarack, Reed had 2 hunting dogs, which were his constant companions, and they are also seen on the monument. One day, while hunting near the present town of Dodge, they came upon a cougar and chased it into the bluffs, where it turned and offered a fight. The dogs charged the cougar and fought furiously. The cougar seemed to be getting the best of them and had one of the dogs nearly disabled when Reed arrived. He did not yet dare use his rifle for fear of wounding his dogs, and yet he was bound to help them. So, drawing his tomahawk, he entered into the fray, working his way into the fight. With a well-directed blow, Reed succeeded in killing the cougar, saving his dogs. James Reed was a man of medium height, with broad shoulders and a large chest. He had light brown hair and grayish blue eyes. He was a quick, active man, alert and ready for any emergency. He often dressed like the Indians, with a blanket thrown over his shoulders and fastened around his waist with a belt. Whether out hunting, trapping, or on one of his numerous journeys, Reed always rode with his rifle across the pommel of his saddle. In disposition, he was kind and genial man. He had been such a man as the frontier demanded, while his firmness and fairness won the respect of all of his associates. The monument you are looking at was designed by Ron Wanick, founder and chairman of Ashley Furniture Industries. As you walk around the rotunda surrounding the monument, you'll see some historical facts or snippets about Reed embedded in the walk's pavers. One of the pavers goes on to say, "The Daniel Boone of TREMPEALEAU County. James Reed was the first permanent non-native settler of TREMPEALEAU, building a 2-story log home there with the help of Peter Rousseau in 1840. Reed could speak several native dialects. In addition, his long association with the French at the Wisconsin settlement of Prairie du Chien enabled him to develop a fair command of the French language. The French called him Reed le Mercant. All others called him Captain Reed because of his military record, or Trapper Reed, later in his life. Reed was an excellent trapper, at times earning or supplementing his living from it. At the time, the region supported abundant muskrat, mink, marten, otter, raccoon, and beaver. But he made a special effort to trap beaver because the demand for the beaver top hats drove up the value of their pelts. As a side note, there is a duplicate monument displayed in the town of TREMPEALEAU, which Reed founded. We hope you enjoyed this narration and the memorial. Thanks.